Hey guys, my name is Moon, and today we're gonna be starting the first episode for Chapter 5 of Higurashi When They Cry. So it has Kai now, and Chapter 5 is called Meakashi or Meakashi, something like that, right? So this is the first of the answer arcs. So I'm very excited for this one. Like I wanted to do the Meakashi arc since I've finished or while we're doing watanagashi, right? Because it was so cool, like all these questions, right? And now we are finally here. We're gonna finally do it. So before we start, I just want to say, so everyone that checked out the question arcs, the 4 chapters that I did, thank you very much, and I really appreciate the views, the comments, the likes, no matter how many it was. I want to say thank you very much. So yeah, let's go. Let's start it. So here we go. So by the way, we're gonna be playing as Shion this time, or she's gonna be the main. I guess it's her POV this time, right? The first 3 chapters it was Keiichi, and then the fourth one was Akasaka, right? A different chapter, but for this one, it's gonna be Shion. So Meakashi, beloved cutthroat, eye-opening chapter. So welcome to the world of Higurashi When They Cry, Kai. We finally reached the halfway point from the viewpoint of the protagonist. Try to find the truth behind the tragedy that unfolds. So the difficulty is very high. Okay. It won't be easy to comprehend the motive of the perpetrator. We will see. So let's begin. Let's start it. Another choice again. Okay, let's click this one. Highlight correct answers. In the 4th chapter, I think there was something like this as well, right? So she dropped her beads in the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years, the girl searched the sands. They might be in the ocean and not the sand, so the girl cried. For 100 years, the girl searched the ocean. They might be in the mountains, not the ocean, so the girl cried. So how many years? So fast, I'm sorry. This is a work of fiction. Okay, it's fiction, guys. This is not real. 7 keys were attached to the keychain. Without knowing which key was the correct one, I had to go by instinct and try every key one by one. On average, I'd reach the correct key within 3.5 attempts. I'd be fortunate if I could open the lock within the first 3 keys. And I'd be unfortunate if I didn't. I had to think of the worst case scenario, getting the right key only on the very last attempt. I fought with my nervousness, my head ached from it. I put the key in and turned it. I just needed to repeat that small procedure several more times, but I couldn't stop shaking. Damn, even a 3-year-old kid can do something this easy. So am I more childish than a 3-year-old? Or whatever, I don't care if I'm clumsy. I just need to try all these keys. So what is this? Even in the worst case scenario, the lock will open in the 7th try.
嘘。
So reality isn't always the same as math. What happened was worse than my worst case scenario. None of the keys worked at all. I could feel the blood draining from my brain. Did I get the wrong set of keys? No, I definitely see a faint marking that says this set is for this door. Am I just reading it wrong? Should I go back to the key cabinet to look for the right one? That would mean a great loss of time. Just by being here, I'm already risking so much. Something that could ruin everything might happen any moment. If I can't open this lock, do I have to go back to the administration office? If there were no other choice, it'd be a waste of time to spend another second here. The administration office wouldn't necessarily be empty at this time, so somebody might come in. I wouldn't be able to look for the right key if that happens. I stood up quickly as if electrified. I was almost in a panic and so felt the urge to move. My instinct pushed me. I have to go back there as quickly as possible. It's dangerous to be here, and it's always dangerous if somebody comes into the administration office. I cooled my head, making it as chilly as possible to repress my fear. So calm down, Shion. Mion wouldn't panic in this situation, so where is she, by the way? Maybe I'm just mistaken. Why don't I try the keys one more time? The next moment, I felt a faint vibration in the air. Somebody was walking somewhere in the hallway. If it were a normal situation, I would have known I wouldn't run into them since the footsteps were very far away. But at the time, I couldn't think calmly. Oh my god. Why am I panicking this much? Because of footsteps. Calm down. Calm down, Shion. I shouldn't be feeling excited instead, or I should be feeling excited, I mean. Calm down. Calm down. I just need to do what I have to do. I should ignore the footsteps because they're not an immediate threat. Pretend they aren't there. I have to listen for something much more important right now. Oh, shit. This key should be hard and cold, but it's pliable and hot. It feels like rubber. How could I stick this into the keyhole? It wasn't the key that was pliable. It's my fingers that were limp. The key sprung out of my hand and fell to the floor. It shouldn't have made any sound because it was so pliable, but it made a tremendous metal noise as if somebody pushed over a cupboard. Cling. The sound always stopped my heart. I felt dizzy for a while. I looked around afterwards to carefully see if I caused any disturbance to the surroundings. Calm down, calm down. Nothing's changed. I don't hear anything. So, am I safe? Calm down. Calm down. Wait, I don't hear anything. What about those footsteps in the distance? Calm down. Footsteps again. Are they looking for me after they notice a sound? What is the sound I'm hearing? Is it my sweat dripping on the floor? Shut up. Shut up. Where is she, by the way? How could I hear the sound of my sweat? She did say administration office, right? Calm down. So administration is a school, right? Calm down. Calm down. She's swearing a lot. I have to clarify. This isn't a prison or a detention center. It is a private school. Okay, it is a school. Not a normal one, though. It just costs a fortune just to get in. I mean, your family is extremely rich, right? It's a boarding school that provides education from elementary to university. Being for girls only rather than a school, you could say it's a factory that manufactures ladies. Some of my classmates here have never even used public transportation. Damn, so everyone here is rich. Really, it isn't normal. To me, saying how nice to see you instead of just hi is already insane. And calling teachers sisters to give me the creeps. I hate the morning and evening prayers, to say nothing of the Sunday Mass. I don't want to memorize the Bible passages and the Holy Ghost. It gives me a rash, okay? If I stayed in this institution, that's what I call the place, for many years, I'd either go crazy or be brainwashed. So what do you call this, Catholic school? Most of the girls choose to be brainwashed, but I can't do that. After all, I was more impressed by the political schemes and the international trade behind religious propagation than by the love of God, which the Bible teaches. Because of that, I'd been treated as a problematic child from the beginning. I experienced a lot of disadvantages as a result. I realized that quickly, so I superficially pretended to be normal. However, I got tired of acting, so I started to reveal my true self from time to time. I became a problematic child once again. People started to treat me differently once again. It's fun to misbehave, but it wouldn't do anything for me in the long run. So why did it act that way? Why? Even though I knew it was going to backfire on me later on. After examining my emotions, I realized that I completely had it with my surroundings. I was afraid of being brainwashed in this institution. I can't live here, so I won't let them brainwash me. 6 months ago, I decided to escape this place. The moment I made up my mind, I started to feel alive again. I acted ladylike in order to deceive the sisters. Pretending became fun once I'd set my goal. It gave me the creeps when they told me with the smiles that it was God's influence that I started to behave religiously. I laughed at them behind their backs. I took on my classmates' duties in order to understand the layout of the school and the schedule of the staff and guards. I soon found out that the security of the school was immensely tight because there were many daughters of important people living here or living there. The guards walked their beat randomly. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. The system that kept out intruders ironically also worked to prevent escapees. But that excited me instead. I simulated how to avoid all the surveillance in my head many times. I drew an escape route in the corner of my notes during class and tested it if it worked. I strove to acquire any necessary skills for the escape. It was all fun. After all, the situation was cathartic for me. That's who I am. No matter how hard they tried to brainwash me, I'd never change. I'd been waiting for the moment of my escape, preparing physically and mentally. So first, I needed the courage to escape. I had to be confident of the plan. I had to think deeply about it. I also needed skills and physical strength. I imagined all the possible obstacles and trained myself. It was funny because I was finally able to enjoy gym classes, even the long distance runs. I needed the perfect plan as well as the physical strength and skills necessary to execute it. Also supported by those things, I needed determination. I made sure that I had all I needed and executed the plan. I decided to plant a seed in school before the appointed day. The seed was a rumor that one of the male teachers was having a relationship with a student. I won't go into details now, but that can turn into an enormous problem in this school. I mean, yes, of course. The school is limited to girls precisely because their parents want to avoid those kinds of problems. Those parents are mostly important people from various positions. So if their romance was a fact and was leaked to the public, the principal would have to commit suicide in shame. Jesus, man, can you just apologize? I mean sometimes, right? I don't know. Even that might not be enough. In the world of girls, a rumor spreads fast. Especially when they're separated from boys and are obsessed with dirty thoughts. So this kind of rumors goes around really quickly. The sisters tried to get rid of that kind of rumor and they warned the students not to be swayed by it. But apparently they're the ones who are most swayed by those rumors. This means that I managed to make them furtively deal with something shady without contacting families or the authorities. So if I disappeared in these circumstances, it didn't look like I ran away with some teacher. All the male teachers would deny it, of course. However, the school wouldn't believe what they said so easily. After all, there's a dirty rumor going around. By the time the school finds out about my escape, after they eliminate all the other possibilities, I'll be safe. I'll be somewhere safe. I tried hard to spread a rumor that I was involved in a forbidden romance as widely as possible. The sisters questioned me a few times, but since the romance was something I'd made up, they couldn't find anything. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find any evidence. After 3 months, I was certain that I created a solid foundation. I swapped after dinner duties with my classmates so that I could adjust my schedule on this day. I was even able to fill them with suspicion about me by doing that. Now they'll definitely suspect I ran away with some male teacher. So tonight was the night. I began my chores after dinner. After the lights out, someone will find out about my disappearance. My generous roommate would probably wait about 10 minutes before she reported me to a sister, but no longer than that. I had about an hour tops, but that's enough for me. I took a step off my regular route, so that was the first step toward my great escape. I calmed down and thought the key shouldn't be wrong. So this lock is old and firm. Isn't it possible that I put the right one in, but the lock was just stiff and I only thought I got the wrong one? So I realized that my nervousness was making me clumsy. The gloves that I'm wearing to avoid leaving fingerprints must be getting in the way too. I should try the keys one more time. So I picked the most probable one and gently inserted it into the keyhole. It's stiff. If I twist it too strongly, I might break the key. At the moment I thought of giving up, I felt something in my fingertips. The key worked. I slowly opened the door. I could hear the crickets. I don't have to hesitate now. But somehow I'm reluctant to step outside. I can still make excuses up to this point. It might look awkward, but I still can. But if I take a step outside, now there can no be excuse. If the guards find me, they'll take me to the office immediately. There have been escape attempts before, so that's not really so strange. I don't think I'm the only heathen here. It's understandable that there have been people before who couldn't fit in this place. So the school is well aware of the possibilities of escapees. I've heard of rumors about what happened to those who were caught while attempting to escape. I don't want to believe any of those stories, so what are the stories, Shion? Tell us. So you see, all the school's horror stories involve students who attempted escapes. Whatever, bring it on. I'm not expecting to get a second chance anyway. There'll always be only one chance. Things get serious beyond this door. I psyched myself up and pushed the door again. A strong smell was hanging in the air. Is that normal for the outside? I never smelled this grassy smell before. Is there something going on? Do I have to be wary of it? Should I go back and wait for another chance? That's silly. There's nothing strange going on. This smell is something I smell every day. I just wasn't aware of it. It's true, isn't it? Even though I pretend to be cool, I'm nothing but a nervous wreck. I mean, you're doing something, of course you're gonna be nervous. Like super nervous. You're trying to escape from school. Calm down. Calm down, Shion. I can only rely on the map inside my head from this point onward. I'd research the locations of all surveillance cameras. I'm confident that I'll be able to avoid all of them. But I'm not so sure about the guards. They pick their patrol routes randomly after all. I'll have to take a chance. I can hide myself in most places. But there's an area where there's nowhere to hide for several meters. I concentrate to keep my senses keen. Well, I have to depend on my luck in the end. Even if I do my best, the guard might find me by mere chance. On the contrary, I might be able to get away no matter how unwisely I choose to move if I'm lucky. Damn, after all that effort, it just boils down to luck. This is a gamble after all. When I realized that, I got excited. Yes, this is a gamble. I'm trying my luck. So this is a game to test the determination to change my life. If somebody failed to escape from this school, that meant they didn't have enough luck to survive in the real world. But I'm different. I'm going to get out of here. I'm testing my luck. Here goes Shion. So I ignored those noisy bugs and concentrated only on suspicious sounds. So I heard no threats. The loudest sound wasn't the bugs, but it was my own heartbeat. Crunch. Even my own footsteps are so loud they could break my eardrums. With each and every step, my overactive imagination tormented me with the premonitions of unexpected run-ins with the guards. Countless times that torture grew too hard to bear and I thought of running. But if I broke into a run, the noise I made would only draw suspicion. If anyone heard running at the time and place where people shouldn't be, they would realize something abnormal is happening. But if the footsteps they heard were just walking, then they'd likely think nothing of it. Of course, I don't plan on even letting them hear those footsteps. I tried to extend my senses to get as much information as possible. I didn't sense anyone's presence. I might have felt safer if I heard a guard in the distance. I'm worried that my senses might not be keen enough to detect everything. Somebody might be right behind me without me being aware of it. I didn't want to make any noise, so I stopped from time to time. It's like I'm constantly fidgeting. To stop or to run, something within urged me to choose from either one. So I can't choose to stop. I have to keep going quickly and stealthily. I'm already risking so much just by being here. So running, of course, would be absurd. I know that. The urge to run continued to bug me. My head was filled with those thoughts as I went through this dangerous territory. I succeed in passing through without running into anybody. I couldn't help but sit for a moment and exhale the rotten air from my lungs. My negative thoughts vanished quickly. Just a little more to go. Just a little more. You can do it, Shion. Just through that bush over there is the fence that separates his place in the outside world. Once again, I strongly felt that urge to run. I suppressed the desire and carefully tackled the final step. The beautiful looking fence didn't seem designed to prevent escapes. While I was worried that somebody might see me climbing up the fence, it fortunately didn't happen. It's even possible that the fence might have a touch sensor. So it's too late now. It doesn't mean anything now since I'm already climbing up. From the top of the fence, it seemed about 7 feet high. I have to go down carefully, just like when I climbed up. I knew that logically, but I couldn't think that way anymore. I chose to jump off with no hesitation. Of course, I regretted my decision during the fall. I got scared because the flight was longer than I expected. I didn't land beautifully. I fell onto my butt. But there was nobody around to laugh and I didn't have time to be embarrassed. Yeah, you just gotta move. I look around to see if anybody heard me landing. Even the crickets weren't interested in the sound I made, and I felt relieved. I looked at my watch. 5 minutes till 8 p.m. It was just a 15-minute escape. Honestly, when you're doing something like this, like it feels like it's hours, right? But yeah, it's only been 15 minutes for her. Putting a number to it really made it obvious how short it had been. Looking back, most of the time I was just asking myself questions and hesitating. I guess I worried too much. But I can't be too relaxed just yet. There's no guarantee that I fooled all the cameras. And the place is in a bank, so there won't be a fire alarm going off even if the guards did see me. It's possible they're rushing this way right now. I can't enjoy the air of freedom yet. So I hid myself in the darkness and waited. There's still time left until the rendezvous. Honestly, this first part, yeah, just Shion is escaping from school. I watched the school premises while waiting, but it looked like nothing strange was going on. The building was lit up, and the beautiful Western-style architecture made it hard to believe that it was a school. It should be armed with electrifying wires, searchlights, and guard dogs like the prison it is. So I thought I'd experience a surge of school memories in a situation like this. But it didn't happen. That sort of thing only happens when you have good memories. I have no good memories of this school, so there's nothing to remember. But if I could pick a series of images to recall, it'd be the luxurious dinners we had every night. So my memories would be nothing but the international cuisine, Japanese, Chinese, French, and so on. What the hell? That's just too funny. I burst into laughter. At that point, I heard a car approaching. I crouched in the darkness. The plate number is the same as I was expecting. That's a car. I jumped out and rushed to the passenger side and opened the door and got in. Kasai, nice to see you.
Shion-san.
The driver was a man of early old age. Did we see? I think we saw Kasai already, right? When on watanagashi, right? Shion, what do you call this? Escorted, I guess, Keiichi home, and yeah, with the driver. He'd be angry if he heard me say that, though. He thinks he's still middle-aged. He looked at my face and learned that I succeeded. He smiled.
シャバの空気は久しぶり。とにかく今は銀シャリが食いたいかな。
学園では上品なお料理ばかりが出てると聞いてましたが、シオンさんにだけは麦飯が出ていたんですか？
バカ、そんなわけないでしょ。冗談に決まってるじゃない。ほら、笑ってる暇があったらとっととアクセルを吹かす。
はいはい、仰せのままに。
Is this a new song though? Give me a second. How do I change this? Like, I was checking the sound by the way, right? But yeah, this seems like a different song though. Okay, let me check audio. Let me try this one. But it's the same though, right? Okay, so I'm using this one. Okay, we only have 2 choices for this one, so we can only choose 2 songs. Okay. The cathedral-like school disappeared from the mirror in an instant. No, I was thinking maybe the old, like, what do you call this, background music we had from the first 4 games, right? Like, I love that one. It disappeared so quick that I didn't have time to surge for a surge of dinner memories. So goodbye, my lovely school days. I'm going to fill my stomach with junk food from now on. I'll forever be free from the table manners he taught me. Serves you right. As we drove, the scenery began to change. Soon, we were surrounded by vast fields and crops and few streetlights. It reminded me that this was just a countryside of Japan, not Europe.
お腹は空いてないですか？どこか飯の食えるところへ寄りましょうか？
食事してるからいい。
I lied. I'm actually a bit hungry. I didn't eat much at dinner to avoid slowing myself down with a full stomach. So I appreciated Kasai's offer, but I didn't feel like taking the time to eat while we were still in enemy territory.
この時間ですから高速に上がってしまうとサービスエリアへ寄っても自販機しかないですよ。まあ最近はハンバーガーとかの自販機もありますけどね。そうそう、聞いた話では最近じゃおでんの自販機もあるって話です。
Oden vending machines?
はあ？何それ？コーヒーの自動販売機みたいに器がポロッと出てきて押したボタンの具がボトボトっと落ちてくるわけ？
Yeah, how does that work? Oden vending machine? What?
気持ち悪い。
そういうのじゃないらしいですよ。おでんの缶詰になってるそうで、それがゴロンと出てくるらしいんです。
あ、ごめん。缶詰はパス。
缶詰、相変わらずダメなんですか？もう子供じゃないでしょうに。
嫌なもんは嫌なの。うっさいな。もう何笑ってんの？
Kasai chuckled. He must have been trying to help me relax. He isn't usually so talkative.
私疲れちゃったよ。少し寝させてもらいます。これリクライニングどうやって倒すの？
そっちの左側の根元を探ってみてください。レバーみたいなのがありませんか？
うん、あったあった。よっこらしょっと。
Kasai laughed again.
何か面白いこと私した？
いえいえ。よっこらしょなんていう若くない言葉遣いがどことなくミオンさんに似ておられたもので。
Well, obviously, Mion and I are identical twins, so we are perfect copies of each other. When I react to something, so will Mion. When Mion reacts to something in a certain situation, I'll react the same way.
お姉は元気？
多分元気かと。私も親族会議の席に親父さんをお連れするときに少しすれ違う程度ですし。
そっか。お姉はもう実家じゃないんだったね。南沢の鬼ババのとこだっけ？
シオンさんが学園に入られるのと一緒の時期に園崎本家に移られました。
I responded with disinterest even though I was the one to ask about her in the first place. The main house is where Oreo-san, I mean, the current leader of the Sonozaki family lives. That's my grandma, who I call a hag. But when we use the phrase the main house, that usually means more than just a dwelling. What Kasai refers to is the same thing.
少しは変わった？
ミオンさんがですか？
そう。あのばあさんと朝から晩まで顔を合わせてりゃ少しは変わるでしょ。
Kasai chuckled yet again. He knows I hate my grandma.
私が見る限り変わったようには感じません。シオンさんの知っているミオンさんのままですよ。
私はどう？私は変わった？
いいえ、全然。
Kasai responded quickly with a smirk. I haven't seen him for a while though, so it's not fun if he answers this quickly. I glared at him and then he burst out laughing.
全然変わっておられませんよ。あれだけのお嬢様学校に入られたのに全く変わらないというのは驚くに値します。
チェー、好きなだけ笑ってろ。私は寝るよ、寝る。
後ろの席に毛布がありますよ。使ってください。
うん、ありがとう。
I grabbed the blanket and rolled up in it. I'm exhausted, but I can't go to sleep, so it's strange. Or maybe not. I must be tired from the escape. It's just that I'm still feeling tense. So I have to declare it once again, if only to calm myself.
寝る。私は寝るよ。
はいはい、さっきからもう3回目です。それとも私が許可しないと寝れないんですか？
今日のあんたは喋りすぎ。あんたが少し黙っててくんないと眠気も引っ込んじゃう。
失礼しました、姫君。ではしばらく黙らせてもらいます。
The interaction with Kasai reminded me of the old peaceful days in Okonomiya. Well, I don't really know if I can call those days peaceful. We were in the middle of the damn protest back then after all. Yeah, we actually didn't see Shion on the protest when there were kids right in chapter 4. We only saw Mion. Maybe Shion was, I guess, shipped out already by then. That's why we didn't see her. We all united together, and now that I think about it, we pulled a lot of pretty dangerous stunts. I mean, shipped out. I mean, they sent her to the school already. If the authorities ever find out what I did, I'd never escape going to juvie. What? Okay. Well, at least half the people in Hinamizawa would be off to prison. We didn't think of them as a criminal acts though. It was a war. It might also have been a festival. A festival where every person in Hinamizawa joined together in the protest. It was a struggle, but it was also fun. It was fun to throw stones at the riot police with everybody. We hid ourselves into somebody's home when they chased after us. We'd even go crowd around the police station demanding the release of our arrested comrades. When we snuck into the construction site and sabotaged it, it felt more like we were playing at a war than conducting one. I got so excited back then. I felt united with my fellow members even though they were strangers to me, and that my memory warms my heart. Yes, the way it felt back then was like helping everyone to carry a sacred palanquin through the village, getting all sweaty and exhausted together. Until we all collapsed face first on the ground and shared our excitement in cheers with unfamiliar faces over tea. I was just a kid back then. I remember accompanying young men who worked for my dad out to the village to do various bad things. I was arrested a few times. It didn't feel any different though than when I was called to the teacher's office for forgetting my homework. The other villagers were furious about the damn project. But for those of us who were kids at the time, it's a pretty fun memory. All that came to a sudden end a few years ago. It wasn't only the power of the protest that ended the dam construction project. The Sonozaki family and my dad's organization had worked secretly in the shadows. This is a top secret information in the Sonozaki family, but it is said that they may or may have not kidnapped the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to blackmail him. The grandson was found a few days after the abduction. He was found in the mountains of Yaguchi. He didn't simply disappear, and he wasn't demoned away or onikakashi'd. That means some kind of deal was made secretly. I mean, Akasaka and Uishi saved the boy, right? A year after that, the dam construction plan was halted indefinitely. The police suspected the villagers' involvement and investigated, but they couldn't find any leads. The villagers never betrayed each other. They do anything to protect their fellow man. They fabricated fake alibis and fake evidence. It was easy to deceive the police. Yeah. The car suddenly shook, snapping me out of it, so it must have run over a bump or something. I suddenly realized my expression was a very happy one for some reason. I must be looking forward to going home.
シオンさん、起きてますか？
何？
お帰りですが、沖宮でよろしいですよね？
他にどこに帰んのよ。
I answered straightforwardly with a frown. Kasai then also chose to reply straightforwardly.
シオンさんを全寮制の学園に入学させる決定は、園崎本家当主が下したものです。シオンさんはその学園を抜け出した。どういうことかお分かりですね。
ばあさんの決めた学校が私に合わなかったってだけでしょ。
シオンさん。
わーってるって。うっさいな。
As said to the Sonozaki family, the Hag's decisions are absolute. They are nothing like, say, the 3-second rule. So worse, the decision to confine me to an academy far away from the Sonozaki family was made before I was even born. Shion was the name they gave me. My sister Mion has a character that means demon in her name. So that was to signify that she's a successor of demons. In other words, she would be the successor to the Sonozaki family and its demonic bloodline. My name Shion has a character that means temple in it. This means that I was destined to take the veil and become or be confined in a temple. Thinking of that reminds me how much I hate this name of mine. For starters, the person known as Shion is an abominable being to the Sonozaki family, because it meant that the family had 2 heirs. I don't have to cite the countless historical examples to explain. It's easy to imagine how that could prove troublesome for succession. According to our long-held family tradition, one of the twins was to be strangled to death right after birth. Oh my god. Unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. Dude, gonna kill the other twin? What that means is that I have to be grateful just to be alive and breathing to this day. So I guess that's why they sent her away, right? Yeah. I heard the hag actually put her hands around my neck right after I was born. I don't know what exchange took place in the moment. Maybe some brave relative of mine managed to get her to stop. Or maybe she was in an extremely good mood that day. Then don't try to strangle me? We are twins. There are no apparent differences between us. But at the first one out of my mom's stomach was named Mion, and the second one drew the short straw and got named Shion. Everyone else was so desperate to tell us apart, but we sisters just found out that awfully ridiculous. There wasn't any difference between us. No one could tell us apart, even if we only swapped hats. We wondered why all the grown-ups are trying to see the differences. Well, our fun as twins didn't last forever. One day, they created an undeniable clear distinction between Mion and Shion. Mion went to the main Sonozaki house to live with the hag and to learn how to become the successor. And I was confined at St. Lucia's. So I have no objection to Sis's inheritance. I used to be jealous. I mean, of course you're gonna be jealous, like your sister. I guess, yeah, the other sister is much more favorite, right? And you got sent out, even though, yeah, I guess you have a nice life. I mean, going to boarding school, eating nice stuff, but you're all alone in that place, and your sister, your twin sister, is being groomed to become the next leader, right? But now I feel that having to learn about and follow the traditions would just make me tired. I even feel sorry for Mion. So I'm not going to be a threat to the family, even if I'm back in Okonomiya. But the hag doesn't seem to think that way. She thinks of me as some kind of evil omen. That's why she wanted to keep me away from her. And it doesn't matter to me. I don't want to see her face either. I don't care if she doesn't allow me to enter Hinamizawa. She can charge me 10,000 yen per step I take there. But I want her to let me live in Okinomiya, where I grew up. When I was little, I was in Hinamizawa, but I don't remember it much. And I'm not very attached to it. I do have good memories of my elementary school days in Okinomiya. The town isn't very sophisticated, but I kind of like it there.
沖宮の町へ帰れば親族の誰かの目に触れることになります。やがては必ず本家の知るところになります。
ばあさんの耳に入ったらどうなるかってことまあそりゃあやばいことにはなるかもね。
お分かりならいいんですがね。
なーに、カサイ。あんた今から私に引き返してあそこへ戻れって言ってるわけ？
まさか。そんなことは言いませんよ。私が言いたいのは、
相応の覚悟はあるんだろうなってことでしょ。
口先だけでなく、本当に理解してるんならいいんですがね。
まあ、そうだろうね。万が一の時は、脱走の手伝いをした葛西も責任は免れないだろうしね。葛西も小指に未練があるなら、今のうちに小指にいっぱいキスをしておいた方がいいんじゃない？
その時はシオンさんもすまきにされて鬼ヶ淵沼に放り込まれるくらいの覚悟をしてくださいよ。ああ、あるいは本家離れの秘密部屋送りかも。
I heard there's a big torture room in the main Sonozaki house. Yes, we saw that, right? I've never seen it though. I heard they use it to torture and kill enemies of the village in there. It's just awful, really. I hope I don't end up as a victim of that place.
はいはい。
You will see. Okay, okay.
ま、なんとかなるって。
つくづくシオンさんは姉さんに似ている。その出たとこ勝負的なところが特にです。
そりゃ似るでしょ。実際の母親だもん。
My dad and mom will be furious if they find out about my escape. I'm more afraid of them than the hag. I don't want to go into details, but my dad is part of the Yakuza. He is in charge of the organization which covers the Shishibone area. He's in a very important position. So is Kasai here. He's an old friend of Dad who really trusts him. I don't know if this is true, but I heard Kasai used to be very aggressive, though he's gentle now. I also heard he has a ton of scars. He was in charge of a few large areas, but after he was injured badly in the fight, he retired. Now he's my dad's consultant, aka drinking buddy. He was my caretaker in my childhood, and now I feel like he's my butler. Shion's personal butler. At first, I thought my dad had asked him to supervise me, so I hated him. But in time, I started to feel like he was on my side. This is just a hunch, but I think Kasai used to be in love with my mom. Ooh. My dad, mom, and Kasai were in a love triangle. Though my dad took the lead in the end. Kasai couldn't leave my mom entirely, so he stayed around as my dad's friend. I can tell that. From the way he acts, he's seeing my mom in me. That's why I guess he's doing all this for Shion, right? That's why he says I look like my mom every now and then. It kind of gave me the creeps at first, but he isn't a bad guy at all. He's actually pretty funny. I only found out that after I got used to him. So when I thought about escaping, I naturally turned to him. I contacted him in an early stage of my plan and arranged to meet him today. You could call him a conspirator. What's gonna happen though if what do you call this again? if they know that Kasai helped Shion. It's not surprising he was worried about my return to Okonomiya. Considering the rules and traditions, cutting off his pinky finger isn't too far from reality. I might be rolled up in a futon and thrown into the swamp for real too. Even so, there's only one place for me to return. I'm going to Okonomiya and nowhere else. That's my hometown. This might be kind of homesickness, but I don't care what it looks like.
実際どうするつもりです？園崎一族の目はそこいら中にありますよ。
まあ最初はのんびり隠れながら過ごします。仮に姿を見られたってミオンだって言い張ればいいんだしね。
それから
で、ほとぼりが冷めてきたら私に近しい親類から徐々に打ち明けていく。私に味方になってくれる人たちだってそこそこにいるからね。私も親父と大喧嘩した時あちこちでいろんな人にかくまってもらったし。
なるほど。味方と既成事実を十分に作り上げてから最終的には園崎本家にもおめこぼしをもらおうというつもりですね。うまくいきますかどうか。
行くって。そもそも私を学園送りにする決定だって結構みんな反対してくれてたもんね。あれは私をやたらと嫌った鬼ババの猜疑心からの決定みたいなもんだったし。葛西もそう思うでしょ？
ええ、まあ私もあの決定にはさすがにやりすぎとは思いました。
鬼ババはとっくに更年期障害で正常な思考なんかできなくなってんの。あのダム戦争の興奮で頭がいかれちゃってまだその時の興奮が抜けきってないんじゃないかな。たく。
Kasai smiled. I couldn't go to sleep after all, even though I was rolled up in a blanket. Even though I told Kasai to shut up, I kept talking to him. In time, I got tired of talking as I could feel the car run smoothly on the highway. Kasai spoke to me again.
シオンさん、ほら。
I was so tired that I ignored him. I wondered what he wanted me to look at, but I wasn't that interested. Yet, I opened my eyes slightly and saw a sign quickly pass by. Kasai probably wanted me to see the sign. It had illustrations of azaleas around the letters that said, "Welcome to Shishibone City. My hometown is coming right up." Chapter 5. Meakashi. Here we go. It's kind of new though, right? Shion Sonozaki. We haven't had any kind of what do you call this? Like opening like this in the other chapters, right? And for the music, maybe this is the music, right? Because we have only two options, and I clicked the one that said old and something like that, right? So if there's no way to have the same music as the one in the question arc, so we're just gonna have to use this one. But it's still nice though. It's just I got used to the question arc music, right? It was nice. The question arc music was nice. I got used to it a lot, so. But I heard this music, I think, on what do you call this? The other arc? The question arc, when I think I tried it to change it, I mean. Well, before I record a episode back then, I don't know which chapter, but I think that, yeah, that this song played. So maybe no, maybe, I mean, you can also use the newer music on the question arc is what I'm saying. So let's just check it out. Notebooks beginning. June 1982. Satoshi Hojo disappeared several days after the Watanagashi festival. There were three possible reasons for his disappearance. One possibility is that it was an accident. Dead bodies sometimes end up in irrigation channels for a few months after hit-and-run incidents. But since the police did a thorough search of the area and hadn't found his body, this possibility seems small. The second possibility is a self-motivated disappearance. Satoshi-kun had been living in dire circumstances. His close friends actually heard him imply he might run away. So the police thought he skipped town after killing his aunt. So that seemed plausible, concerning that aspect. But the police arrested another person for the murder, so this hypothesis must also be considered false. So the last possibility is that he was involved in a series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. It's also called the curse of Oyashiro-sama. He fell victim to and disappeared. Unless Oyashiro-sama's occult power is actually verified, this curse must be the act of humans. It's only natural to assume that Satoshi-kun was made to disappear by someone's will. So the question is, whose? Possibilities are quite limited. The culprit is either a member of the Sonozaki family, a member of the three families, or one of their many relatives. So the police can assume that easily. I need to think beyond that. Who did it? How did it happen? And why did it have to be done? Why did Satoshi-kun fall victim? What was the motive? Who gave out the order? Who actually did it? The mastermind, the culprit, and the truth are all in the reach of my grasp. Maybe I'll find them right behind my back. But even so, I can't reach everywhere. There are parts of my back I have to make an effort to reach, clenching my teeth and cracking my joints so that the tips of my fingers can barely touch them. Truth is hidden in places like those. So I'm writing this because I need to organize my thoughts and memories. Nobody will read it other than myself. So, but if somebody does, that means that either I threw those notes away because I no longer needed them, or I fell victim to the curse of Oyashiro-sama in the middle of my attempt to solve the mystery. If it was the former, that's okay. But if it was the latter, please, I want you to help me. Please help this powerless young girl. Okay, so yes, we will end our first episode there for Chapter 5 of Higurashi When They Cry. So, very nice opening. I guess they haven't really said, right? I guess his setting is before watanagashi, I suppose, right? Because in watanagashi, when we played with Keiichi, Shion was there already, right? So of course there's gonna be the answer arc for watanagashi, right? So I guess they showed us where Shion was, right, before she showed up on that chapter. So that's nice that they told us that she was in a school, I guess a boarding school, right? Private school, and then she escaped, and now she's heading to Okonomiya. Okonomiya City, or Okonomiya. So I'm very, very interested, honestly. I can't wait to see how all this plays out, right? In Shion's perspective. It is gonna be a very, very fun ride to see all of those things happening, right, in Watanagashi, and we're gonna get our answers. Because yeah, we're gonna be on Shion's perspective, right? Was she the one who did it? All of it? But yeah, when we played Watanagashi, I said that yes, I believed it was Shion. All of it, right up until the ending. But who knows, right? Who knows in this chapter? We're gonna have to find out. So yes, we're gonna continue this and do more of Higurashi When They Cry. Chapter 5, Meakashi. A lot of she in this this chapter. They Meakashi, Higurashi. We'll continue this and do more in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.